right, I spent some time in the classroom. This seems like a nice academic setting. Let me ask a question. How many of you are registered to vote? That's pretty good. And you're going to vote, right? Yeah. All right. But I'm sure you know some people who are not going to vote. I'm sure you know some people who are not registered to vote. And as Katie and Mark and Representative Hanna said, you can't do that. The basic responsibility of citizenship in a democracy is that you got to vote. Because if you don't, someone else is going to make the decisions that affect your lives. And Representative Hanna talked about one really big set of decisions that are affecting your life right now, and that is what we're to do with education. My view, and I hope your view is, in a limited government, free market economy system, there are very few things that governments should do. But one of them is that we need to invest in education. That's what we do, right? Because if we can't assure that you're going to get a good education right here in Pennsylvania, we're cheating ourselves, all of us. Now, I'm from York County. I didn't go to Lock Haven. You're from York County? I am, yeah. I need everybody, and you need everybody all across Pennsylvania to get a good education. And we've got to do that. And we can do that in a lot of different ways. We can't do it by stiffing education. We can't do it by continuing to cut education funding. Now, I know you can't throw money at any problem and get to a good outcome. I know that. But you can't keep taking money away from a problem and hope to get to a good outcome either. And that's why, working with Representative Hanna, we're trying to make the education system better. So affordability is a problem right now. I don't have to tell you, student debt is a problem that is eating away at the heart of our economy, of our society, of our families. We've got to do something about that. And so I've convened, as Representative Hanna said, a roundtable to talk about that issue. How are we going to deal with it? And I think we have some good ideas. Not intrusive ideas, not ideas that are going to break the bank, but ideas that are actually going to address the problem. Because if we have a system that forces students to take on debt, things aren't going to work. It's just not going to work for us. Our economy's not going to work. Nothing's going to work. So we've got to come to grips with that problem. We have got to come to grips with the problem of educational quality. We've got to have good professors like Mark who are willing to come and teach at places like this. How many years? 31 years. 31 years. We need people who have that calling and are willing to come and teach it. We cannot afford to let places like Lock Haven go down the tubes. We can't afford to have a strike. We have got to recognize our shared responsibility in making this system work. And so that's what I'm bound and determined to do. And in this election, you're going to get a chance to weigh in on it. If you don't vote, and people like Mike Hanna don't get reelected, then we're not going to have people who actually care about that in Harrisburg. Because that's just the way it works. As Representative Hanna said, I would have liked to have had more funding for higher education, but I got what I could, and we all fought for, I think, the best outcome we could get. But we could do better, and we could do better if we had the votes. This is what a democracy is about, and by all means, we need to disagree about what our options are and whether we want this option or that option. But I think we have a pretty good set of options. I think we have a pretty good set of options for what ails most of you who are right here and concerned about what happens in places like Lock Haven. We've got to get it right, and so you've got to get it right when you go to the polls. You've got to vote. You've got to make sure you take this into account, your own self-interest, and figure out who is going to be in Harrisburg thinking about what you need to make Pennsylvania better. Because if we make, actually, you need to think about what's going to make your lives better. If you do that, that's going to make Pennsylvania better. So please, please help me, strengthen my hands. Help Mike Hanna, who, by the way, as minority whip in the House of Representatives, has done more than I think anybody to help all of us move this Commonwealth forward. It's not just enough to sit there. It would not be just a loss for this constituency if Mike Hanna doesn't win re-election. It would be a loss for Pennsylvania. Our future depends on people who recognize what he recognizes, and that is that, and you recognize it too, that if we don't do a good job in Harrisburg as stewards of not only the grand democratic tradition that we're stewards of, but to make Pennsylvania the Pennsylvania we know it can be, if you don't have people like him there, we're not going to have that Pennsylvania. So this vote matters. You can't sit it out. You can't vote for somebody else. You need to vote for Mike Hanna. That's what's good for Pennsylvania. That's what's good for you. That's what's good for Lock Haven. That's what's good for all of us. So please, please, if you're not registered, Carrie up there in the blue t-shirt, you're a student here at Lock Haven, right? You're not? Okay. Katie's a student. Okay, see Katie. See Carrie, and she will help you get the proper help you need. We've already registered, by the way, online, 675,000 Pennsylvanians. We are about government that works. We are about making sure people have access to voting. We want everybody to vote. We need to have good turnout. So please vote in this election. Please vote for the best interests of yourselves and vote for the best interests of Pennsylvania. Thank you very much. Please re-elect Mike Hanna. Thanks very much.